quite a few.
This is so cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm balling right now.
You know who steps up?
Vernon Moses.
Our father.
Music as loud as possible.
What song?
I think it might have been Knuck If You Buck back then. We played to win the game.
You done inspired me.
I'm like, no, we gotta win.
Gotta win. Welcome in, everybody. I am Lauren, your favorite dog mom, pasta lover, former UVA hooper, all academic team.
She's smart, y'all. And it's her brother, your boy, Desmond Moses, former Green Bay Packer, Kansas City Chief. I was an outside linebacker, so don't play with me like that. We from Jersey, too.
Jersey all day.
Appreciate y'all tuning in with us. Lock in. We got another good one. Lauren, what they got to look forward to on this episode?
Well, we got to talk about former Houston Texan, current Cleveland Brown, Deshaun Watson's drama. We also talking about...
That's a touchy subject. I'm going to just throw that out there. But keep going.
Emphasis on drama. But we're also talking about, some of our best performances on the field and on the court, what we do best, I think. And, something that we are both fond of now, therapy, you know.
Mentally, physically, you got to be healthy. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, right? So Deshaun Watson, he was formerly with the Houston Texans. News broke about massage therapists.
How many of them?
Well, in total, 24. Massage therapists came out accusing him of sexually assaulting, coercion, while giving him services of, massaging and parlors. I want to know, you are a former NFL player. How did you react to see his response or lack thereof?
Yeah, difficult because I've seen pro athletes be targeted in situations like this. But then as a brother to two beautiful sisters, growing up with two women, having a daughter, I'm like, okay, if he really did this, he's a bad person. He has an issue that he needs to iron out. But the odd part about the situation was that it was mid-contract negotiation. This guy was as clean as it gets for a young black quarterback, somebody I admired. Then we hear all this news. Well, they try to devalue you almost any way possible. You would hate to think that, people would get together and orchestrate something like this. But it is possible. And we're talking about, a guy that just signed a 5-year, $230+ million contract. First, I had to be skeptical. Okay, is this true? Where these ladies come from? Why all at once? Why all the same lawyer? All of these thoughts went through my head. And then you have to come back and look at the facts. And as the facts continue to come out, it doesn't look very good for what's going on. And for this young man, and for me, I can't support anything like this.
I think that there's no reason why, in the midst of an investigation, whether they're civil or criminal, there's no reason why we should just be handing over millions of dollars to a man that is allegedly supposed to have done these things.
Yeah.
The NFL has had cases in the past where their players have been charged. People have been allegedly, whether that's domestic, sexual, and we just don't see the same penalties, the same fines.
Well, you said it, protecting women. We have a case here where his initial suspension was 6 games.
Yeah.
Now, there was a player that bet on a game last year. He was suspended.
Calvin Ridley from
Ridley
Atlantic
was suspended
Falcons.
The entire season. Now, you talk about protecting women. That's a clear-cut message to me. If I'm a young lady or if I'm somebody looking from the outside and say, okay, you gamble in the NFL, you get suspended the whole season. If you get accused of assaulting women, you get 6 games.
Yeah. The NFL did appeal what the court's judgment was, which was those 6 games.
Saw this.
Deshaun Watson says he's willing to sit out 8 games with a $50 million fine.
$5 million.
$5 million, sorry.
Well, it's an easy $5 million.
But now we're debating. Now this is a negotiation. It's like we see in the court of law in our justice system all the day. You say you don't do something, but you can get a better sentence or a better deal.
Money talks.
You plead to it. But I think it's entitlement. I think it's insane to even be able to put out a statement or feel comfortable putting out a statement that you're willing to take a little bit more off on the shoulder.
It's difficult because this is what a lot of people already think about NFL athletes, whether current or past. This is the perception, and this is what a lot of athletes, especially football players, fighters, if you're in a physical, violent sport, you have to go up against people thinking you're some sort of monster. So, I don't respect or take this lightly at all.
There's something that started this, right? There's a root to everything. So professional athletes, they're in the limelight. They got the checks.
Yeah.
They got the bling. They got the drip.
Yeah.
Females attract.
Yeah. The status.
How does one navigate that? How did you navigate the women?
Yeah. Poorly. I did it poorly. I mean, I'm just being totally honest with you guys. It's a scenario where, again, you have the attention, the status, the popularity. Try to, have a contest almost.
But that's a part of the lifestyle, it seems.
It's the culture. I mean,
okay.
It's literally the culture, and it's joked about, from the training room. Now, granted, there's guys who draw the line, and we're respectful because all of us are good humans. But there's a culture where it's promoted. It's a real thing in sports, and I've seen it. Like I said, I didn't handle it the best, even from where I was from in New Jersey. That was the culture. Oh, you want to be a ladies' man. You want to be, dark skin was just coming in. I said, I got to go all the way. You know what I'm saying? Dark skin was just coming in. I'm
Dr.
like,
Berry, the sweeter the juice.
You feel me? I'm going all the way.
Yeah.
And come to find out through therapy years later that this was from a trauma from my childhood. I was actually just trying to keep my distance because I was hurt.
I think my last thing on the whole Watson drama is, I hope that he gets exactly what he is supposed to get, deserves. But also for the women, whenever situations like this, whether it's alleged sexual assault, domestic violence, is that I just wish more people were believed, right? I wish more people would come out. And I think that the fact that they aren't believed which is why they don't come out. Not being in situations or removing yourself from situations, and these people are at work.
Women deserve to feel safe. They deserve to go to work and do their job in peace with the highest level of focus and not feel those distractions or pressure or any of those things from men. And I think this is something that'll bring light to it. If this is going on and this is true, all of the things that have been stated and claimed against this guy, then that means there's more of it going on and not just in this particular spot down in Houston, Texas. It's something we need to take a larger look at and see and make sure that we're protecting these women in these spaces, especially when they're dealing with men of quote-unquote power. But Lauren, we're going to move into our next segment. We need to put some love in the air. This is a Did You Know?
Did you know? Okay.
There was a case in 1967 that overturned a ruling on interracial marriage.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew this, but there was a couple, they actually were the loving couple, Mildred and Richard. They fought the court in Virginia, Loving versus Virginia, in hopes to allow legal interracial marriages so that they could live happily ever after. There's actually a movie about this based on their situation, their story. How huge was a case like this, considering it's projected in 30 years, the average American will be a mixed human?
It's huge, right? Because we always say, like, a lot of people say, I would say, like, love is love, right? Like, it doesn't matter the skin color, doesn't matter the gender. Like, this couple was determined to figure it out. The times that they were in as well. Like, this is something that is looked down upon. This is something that is shunned.
Well, speaking of the times, think about the things that they had to endure throughout this, between their neighbors, families, the courts.
Going out, just being a couple. They had to do things separately. Black people weren't allowed to certain places during that time in Virginia. Their identities are totally different. Right. But at the end of the day, it all came back to love, which is why it's so cute to me.
For the love. It's about education and learning the history, empowering yourself. I know for me, even as a Black man, I was a grown man when I started to do some research and really just discovered how my people invented certain things. It gave me strength, gave me power, let me know, okay, we're special. Shout out to them, Loving, Mildred.
Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, I think, that's obviously a huge part of our history. It shifted marriage. It shifted the possibilities for marriage. Something that also makes everyone a little bit special, makes us special, I think, is some of our best performances as athletes. I think that, for me personally, I've had quite a few. Pat myself on the back. But my most memorable one, I will say, is as a child. Okay. High school.
Okay.
Playing an all-star game. The other team didn't have a coach. You know who steps up?
Vernon Moses.
Our father. He's like, I'll coach. And I was like, oh, you know what? Yes, go ahead. And that was the first time I had ever played against my dad, or he had even coached. He had never even coached a team. Yeah, he probably keeps it quiet for a reason. Performance-wise, I did amazing.
Okay.
20-10.
Ugh.
And it was the best game I had as a high school player.
Okay.
And it was against my dad.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so special to me, because he didn't even think I had it in him or in me.
Did you win? Did you beat him?
We won, and I got MVP.
Yeah. That's why I didn't hear about it.
Okay. You probably have many from different sports.
Yeah. You know what? Still one of my all-time favorite was also, it was senior year of high school. I was coming off suspension.
Why were you suspended?
There's a backstory. It's kind of a touchy one, it's a sticky situation. Long story, we went away to camp. Our starting running back touched someone inappropriately. A kid, hazing, turned crazy. We'll say that. There was a police investigation. I admitted to opening an ice pack and pouring it on the kid. So they're like, yeah, well, that's hazardous. We got to suspend you. I'm like, all right, I'll take, But what that happened over there had nothing to do with me. Here's what I did, though,
Yeah.
So I had to do my 2 games. I come back from my suspension. It's game 2. We're playing our crosstown rivalries. Packed crowd. Last play of the half. They're about to score on us. I catch it 2 yards inside of the end zone. Run this ball back with no time left. Crowd's going crazy. Babies are screaming. I caught this thing with one hand. It was on the newspaper the next day, front page, like me snagging this ball one hand, taking it 102 yards. That was one of my legendary stories. Like, it was almost one of those out-of-body experiences to where it felt like I was watching me make this play. And I'm like, this is so cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm balling right now. For me, I think twofold. Getting back on my team and being a leader, coming out, making a play like that for my team to show them, hey, I've been ready. I've been waiting. You can count on me still.
Yeah.
And for my neighborhood, looking up in the crowd, that's one of my proudest moments.
Yeah. So moments like that start with rituals. Mm-hmm. How do you get in the game?
I'm a psycho. I truly, in high school, after we did our warm-up, we used to come in, turn the lights off in the locker room, turn up music as loud as possible.
What song?
I think it might have been Knuck If You Buck back then. We was, you know what I'm saying? We in there, vibing. That was the vibe. Yeah. Lights off, you know. Coaches come in and get violent. Folks in the, by the time we got out to the field, we was pumped. We was ready to go.
For me, high school we had shared locker rooms.
Okay.
And so we would just have our headphones in. Maybe somebody take it off and we all dance a little bit. But
hold on. Y'all didn't have locker rooms at RV?
We had locker rooms. We had shared locker rooms.
Oh, okay.
So it was like one team in, one team out.
Didn't know that.
It was very interchangeable, and we really used it to just change. Like, we didn't get turn up in there.
I'm thinking about the balance in sport. Mind y'all, we went to the same high school. I did not know until this very moment that the girls shared locker rooms, the opponent and the home
y'all
team.
had a whole downstairs, right?
Yeah, we had a warm-up little space. Same high school.
Yeah, same high school, different genders. My high school turn-up was a little reserved, but in college, we played Meek Mills, we played Young Dolph, we played everything, rap mostly. Right. We would have occasional, like for an ACC, we play on Sundays.
Okay.
And on Sundays, we would play gospel music. You still get turned out to gospel music, though. Because, if you in the club, though, I will say, if you are in the club around some black people, just look around when they play some Kirk Franklin.
Never been.
What?
Never heard gospel music in the club.
Day party. You're not going to Sunday Fun Day, huh?
I guess I'm getting old.
But outside of the music, I feel like music is a huge part of
100%
culture, sports culture in general. How do you prepare for the game? Is it plays? Is it going over the plays? I know football.
Yeah, so it changes from level to level. And to be honest, once I got to college, and especially as a pro, it was so assignment driven that I generally found myself initially starting my process once I came into the locker room. I'm going to go review my notes from the week. I want to go over everything, might even glance at a little bit of film. We had the iPads. I wanted to be so sound in my assignments by the time that I got out there that I'm not thinking about anything. I'm reacting. Okay, I see this, boom, I react. That way I could play fast. I'm going to be the fastest player out here based on just mentally, I'm 2-3 steps ahead. And then I want to get into my lather. I warm up, get the ice tub, cold tub, all those things that make you feel good or mentally make you feel good. And then comes the music. That's like the second part of our therapy, our rituals. I'm turning up. Now I'm trying to get into fight mode because for football, you're going out there into a physical space.
Yeah.
They're trying to knock your face off. Like you're going into a fight, like a boxing match. So, you're working up, getting into a lot of this focus. And then right before you go out there, you want to try to bring it all back down.
Yeah. I don't know if a lot of people do this, but I put on my uniform a certain way every single time.
How you do
it?
I
start from the ground up and I go left to right on everything. But I also do that with my clothes, so that might not be that special. But I always used to do that. Like in high school, I did that. So I was like, why not take it into college?
Some OCD or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like left to right on everything. But I am left-handed, so that could be part of it as well.
I didn't know you were superstitious.
I'm different.
See, I'm learning my little sis.
I'm different.
25 years, I'm still learning my little sis.
I'm not really superstitious though. Like, I don't think if I didn't do it, it just makes me feel good.
Right. You feel comfortable, feels complete once you do it. And that's part of being comfortable mentally going out there. Everybody has a different regimen, but the last thing I do before I take that field, I say a prayer.
Yep.
I used to say a prayer, and it went along the lines of just being free. I used to ask God to take every worry away. If I don't make it off of this thing today, you got to be ready to go. So that's how much I used to pray, just to be that free so I could go and say, whatever happens, it happens out here.
Take the wheel.
We like that.
Let's turn our attention to something that both of us share in common, which is the fundamentals.
Yeah, getting right mentally.
We take pride in our mental, right?
Yeah.
We both been through some things on the field, off the field, that has kind of shown up through therapy.
I am a believer. I
was about to say, because some people would just be like, why you go to therapy when you could just pray?
Let's rub some people the wrong way right here. There's a lot of people, especially in the Christian community in which we grew up in, who think, oh, God will answer all the problems. I don't need to go talk to some person. We've both had the opportunity to go and experience therapy and get the advantages of it while being Christians. Mm-hmm. What do you say to those Christians who just won't do it?
Everybody has their own beliefs, right? Like, for me, it's more one-on-one. I know who my God is. He knows exactly who I am. Why don't we just take a step back? And maybe if it's not a therapist.
Right.
Maybe it is the pastor.
Right.
Maybe it is a friend. Maybe it is somebody, right? And a lot of times, those people ain't giving you what you really need.
Right. Don't talk to your bitter best friend about your man problems and think you finna get some good advice. Y'all.
Like, exactly.
I'm just saying.
Like, what is the goal? Because even with therapy, it's like sometimes I have gone into therapy and just been like, so what are we here to talk? Like, what are we going to talk about? Like, I don't know what to even talk about. But it's the tools. It's the resources. It's the questioning. So a lot of times my therapist asks me a question. I'm just like, I have never thought about that before.
Right.
And just the thought, and just her asking the question, I go out in life and I'm like, oh.
Makes you more thoughtful.
Okay. Changes, and it makes you also more receptive of people. But it also makes you understand that, okay, this person is here for that purpose.
Right.
Sometimes your friends ain't your friends. Right. Sometimes people are only in your life for seasons. And I think for me, therapy has given me clarity.
I find myself learning these tidbits, things, from therapy that when you get into that space again in your life, you can put yourself through it. Teaches you how to handle these different things to where you can improve as a person, because we're like children going through life, in my opinion. We're just trying to figure it out, teach each other, relearn, unlearn bad habits, relearn.
When you get past our parents' age, you're really just like, a lot of people can be stuck in their ways. And so I think it's teaching young people, especially teaching young men, that it is okay to cry, that it is okay to seek out help if you need it. And I think that is how you kind of debunk all the myths of therapy.
What's 2 things that you've taken away from your therapy sessions? Something positive you've taken away that maybe somebody else could use, or maybe encourage somebody else to, hey, I need to go to therapy. I might could use a few of my own tidbits.
Yeah.
Give me 2.
First one is the root. Get down to the root of the issue. Because whatever it is, a lot of times that we're complaining about, or a lot of things that we think is wrong with us, like everyone's like, what's wrong with me? Or I have these issues. And my therapist was like, you don't have any issues. Like, you have something that you want to fix. And then number 2 is just better ways to effectively communicate when I am disagreeing. It doesn't have to be an argument. I'm not a confrontational person, so I usually just sit back in the corner when I'm not happy. But just effectively saying, I feel like it made me feel like, literally, like those just couple words can get your point across to someone without them being so defensive.
Yeah. As the choir sings. And it's funny because me and you are quite opposite in that matter. I'm very confrontational. If I have a problem, I want to face it right now. But some people need time, and before you have that conversation, even for myself, I've learned to take time and easy on those conversations, especially when they're emotional, so that, A, I can communicate what I'm actually trying to get across, because it might be just that, hey, I'm emotional. This hurt me. Mm-hmm. But I'm 6'3", 255 pounds when I'm emotionally hurt, you know? And I'm telling you, it might look like anger. I think it makes for relationships to be more fluid, more open, more honest.
And we're not saying not to pray. You got to say a prayer. We're saying that the two can coincide, people. Yeah. It's okay.
Lauren, we've both been in locker rooms, plenty of them, had tons of coaches. What's a moment, either from your coaches or from a movie, that you have taken with you, something that just stuck in your mind from a coach, from experience that you had in life?
So another one, I had one, but another one just popped in my head. Because I have bad knees, right? Okay. They still bad. I heard from almost every single coach I had, jump! Just jump. And I'm like, I'm literally jumping. And then my college coach always used to just yell, damn, L, every time I do something incorrect. But what was yours?
You know what? It was a press conference. One of my favorite coaches, Coach Dungy, they were talking about, why are you playing the game? What are you trying to accomplish? He was like, we play to win the game. And I'm like, this is the mindset that I live with. Whether it's 12 o'clock noon basketball, you can ask those guys. They're like, Des, bro. I'm like, no, we gotta win.
Gotta win. All these things are happening, right? We talked about Deshaun Watson. Yeah. We talked about, our best performances. But really, it's all here. It's all between the ears, right? How you prepare, how you show up every day. That is what matters. And that's what you leave behind when you're no longer playing. That's what you leave your legacy behind as.
Yeah, and I think, perspective matters, whether it's day-to-day, falling in love with the process. One of the toughest times as an athlete, going through football camp, you're not in your own bed, it's uncomfortable, days are long. I used to have to wake up and thank God for this opportunity, for the gratitude that I had for each day, which gave me a new perspective, shifting my perspective into a place of thankfulness. Therapy has a lot to do with that. So to our viewers, stay focused. Stay focused. It's a battle. It's a mental battle. Internally, get rid of some of those distractions and lock in.
That's a perfect way to end. You done inspired me. All right, that's good. I'm Lauren.
It's your boy, Dezman Moses. We'll catch you next week.
Let's see.
Whee!
That's good. Yeah.